The clock tower towers over St. Jude Hospital. Its face was always frozen at midnight. Evelin was a night nurse whose eyes were constantly obscured from working in the graveyard for many years. Feeling the spikes crawling down her spine. As the wind sings its sad song, tonight is different. The oppressive silence was shrouded in a cacophony of machinery and coughing. Ox, curts, and insistences break the silence. Evelin's heart slammed into her ribs. Visitors are not allowed after 10 o'clock and caller ID is displayed only statically. She hesitantly approached the heavy oak door. A gaunt figure covered in a tattered black robe stood on the balcony. His face was obscured by a wide-brimmed hat. But two burnt yellow orbs pierced through the darkness. Evelin Thorne. The voice was hoarse, the dry wind blowing through the dead leaves. I need your help. Evelin's breath was stuck in her throat. Who knows her name? The figure held out a decayed hand. It revealed a tarnished silver coin. The irrational tugging caused her fingers to close around it. Inside, a sweet, enticing scent hung in the air. In the pediatrics department, children who are normally restless often lie eerily still. Their wide eyes looked blank. A little girl made a sound of water flowing out. Her brows furrowed in a silent scream. At the end of the walkway, the single door creaked open. The figure was vaguely revealed to be an old woman with wrinkled paper-like skin. He beckoned Evelin inside. This room was a stark contrast to the sterile white of the rest of the hospital. The walls were covered with dust, depicting distorted creatures and mysterious rituals. A single oil lamp cast a flickering shadow on the bent figure kneeling before the rough altar. Tonight, the woman screamed. Her voice dripped with urgency. The veil between worlds is thinner. A malevolent organization is trying to claim these innocent souls as it crosses over. Evelin felt a little nauseous. This isn't a late-night horror movie. This is true. Panic consumed her. But an even stronger power made her stay there. She must protect these children. An old woman, who introduced herself as Layla, cast an ancient spell. Evelin's blood ran cold as the room filled with invisible energy. The air became denser. It smells of sulfur and decay. Loud laughter broke the silence throughout the hall. The little girl's gurgle grew into a terrifying scream. The other children began convulsing. Their eyes were focused only on what they could see. Evelin rushed towards the door. But Layla's bony hand gripped her arm. Don't become a witness or you will become another pawn. Cold, reptilian terror rushed into the room. Evelin sensed its presence. A heavy weight pressed down on her soul. From a dark corner, a nightmare figure appeared. It looked like a tall, slender man. But his face was replaced by a gaping stomach, which was filled with rows of sharp teeth. When the entity reaches out to the closest child, a bright light shot out from Layla. She chanted with new fervor. Her voice cracked with stress. Living things shrink, its appearance flickered like a dying flame. The room shook violently, dust fell, and plaster fell from the walls. Suddenly it stopped. A heavy silence ensued. There was only the sound of heavy breathing. Only Layla's was broken. When Evelin dared to open her eyes, that living thing had disappeared. Layla was sprawled on the floor, with the silver coin she gave Evelin clutched in her hand. The children were still there, but their blank looks were replaced by a peaceful slumber. Layla stirred, her voice barely above a whisper. The barrier is sealed. But for how long? Then she went limp. Her eyes were clouded. The clock tower rang. 1. The first light of dawn shone through the dirty windows. Evelin stumbled out of the room. The weight of the night pressed down on her. The tarnished silver coin felt heavy in her pocket. It's an eerie reminder of the night she watched midnight monologues, a terrifying exchange between an unseen world and the fragile life entrusted to her care, as Evelin left the hospital, vowing never to speak of what she had seen. She couldn't shake the feeling that the battle was still far from over. The darkness still lurks, waiting for the next opportunity. Maybe the children are safe now. But somewhere, in the unseen corners of the world, Midnight Monologues continues. With a chilling symphony of terror.